Welcome back, everybody. Thursday morning edition of Hot Mic rolls on. Getting ready for the big trip down to Texas here tomorrow. Our coverage from Frisco will begin on our newscasts. I believe it's 6 o'clock tomorrow. I'll have our first report tomorrow night at 10. And then all weekend long, and a reminder, Hot Mic will be live in Frisco as well on Monday, getting you ready for the championship game that night. Speaking of Bison football, they are full mode for not only for the game on Monday, but also for the tweaking of the rosters we talked about for 2025. They've added another in-state player to the recruiting class for 2025 out of Stanley, North Dakota. Drake Schlosser announced late last week that he has committed to the Bison for the class of 2025, and he joins us here this morning. It's great to see you. Happy New Year. Congrats. So give us the lowdown on this. You were committed to the University of Jamestown for next year, and then what happened after that?
So I kind of always knew NDSU was where I wanted to be at. It was always the goal. Everyone wants to go there. I'm knowing kind of with the thought in my head, and I was very transparent with them about it. I told them, I was like, I'm going to commit here because this is where I want to be, like in the Division II level. You guys are my number one school, because I didn't want to lose that opportunity if I didn't get NDSU. So I told them, I was like, I want to commit. This is where I want to be. But if NDSU does come around, I will more than likely take it. And they said they were 100% okay with that. So when I got the green light from them, I committed. So I had not really fall back on, but like if I didn't get NDSU, I didn't lose the opportunity where I wanted to be at. So that's kind of where that came from.
So when did, in your opinion, or what they told you, when did you get on their radar?
So actually it was early my junior year because I wasn't going to play football my junior year. Like I was set. I wasn't going to play. We got a new coaching staff. Some other stuff happened. I decided I was going to play. I started playing pretty good my junior year. I was having fun again. My coaches sent a few emails to just a few players. I got on their board, like I just got a simple Twitter graphic.
Yeah.
And I guess after that, I just talked to I don't know exactly what his position is, but Jamison Brown,
Yep.
one of the coaches there, he was one of the first person. He just sent me like a graphic. So I thought that was pretty cool, but I didn't really think much of it. Then the NDSU came to the school, I think last year. Yeah, 3 times last year. And it was really like they were really involved in my recruiting journey. Obviously, it would take they would have to be involved with me for me to flip school. So that's they've always really been there with me since the beginning. They were there before a lot of other schools.
So the fact that they were interested, how much did that change your football for? You mentioned you weren't going to play. How much did that reverse everything for you?
And that exactly. So UND reached out to me and NDSU, and that was kind of like the eye opener. I was like, okay, like I can play college football for sure then. It might not be at either of those places, but I can find a home somewhere. And I guess I just put my head down and kept working after that.
You have played literally every position. We're just talking about Cam Scadavoo, who was doing this for Arizona State yesterday. You did this for Stanley this year. You play quarterback, wide receiver, running back, returner. Tell me, is there a favorite? Do you have a position that you enjoy more than anything?
I like to think of myself just now really as a position guy, but an athlete. I think I played every single spot on the field this year besides D-line and O-line. So every other spot that you can name in the football field, I played there. And I go wherever my coaches tell me to go, and I just want to put us in the best position to win games.
Describe that versatility or flexibility. Just like, did you like certain plays? Like, okay, I'm gonna be a linebacker. Maybe I'll be a safety. Maybe this time I'm wide receiver. What is that like mentally to prepare for?
So like obviously high school football isn't like a lot of like, it's not super complicated. You kind of just go out there and play, but week by week, we kind of just put me where the other team's strengths were. When our outside linebacker, he got a hernia actually. I stepped down because a lot of people don't throw the ball, and I was doing run fit at safety. I wasn't really like, I was kind of just back there, so I probably didn't get hurt in a way because I was carrying the ball probably 20 times a game.
Man.
So, and then when our outside linebacker got hurt, I moved down and just because I was basically doing the same thing. So it was it wasn't a lot of change, but just knowing what the other team was doing week by week and putting me in the spot to help stop it.
You were second team All-State selection for Stanley this year. Tell me about the pride that goes in that. You've played other sports. You obviously play basketball as well. To say if this is something that I'm going to craft myself to be to get noticed, to get out there on the recruiting circle.
Yeah, so All-State, like last year, I had high hopes to get it. I did miss the team though. This year I knew that I knew that if I just was myself this year, I knew I would for sure put myself in that, like, I don't really know what I'd call it, in the realm to get that award.
Yeah.
Like I'd be in the conversation, and that was actually one of my main goals this year. Was obviously I wanted a winning record. We came pretty short of that. We lost some games we shouldn't have lost, but I was happy to be on the All-State team for sure.
Stanley's not necessarily out there for football. We know you guys for basketball. Tell us about that, about getting recognized for football, because that's not people. I don't know if they associate Stanley as top football town.
Yeah, so like, and that kind of goes back to me almost quitting. Like we weren't winning games. I was a starting quarterback my sophomore year. I had a season-ending injury at the beginning of my sophomore year, and
Mm.
like that kind of just like we weren't very good. I wasn't really having fun. So really, like, when I was gonna quit and then I got the college attention, it kind of was just like, it was just like an eye opener, like I said. Like it really, like, it all just came to me. I didn't really try to rush anything. It just all came to me.
Now to have this happen here, so NDSU reaches out, then you start, okay, that changes everything. Give us your mindset after they show interest in you.
So I'll be really specific here. So at first, my first offer I got in April or March last year from Minot State. So that was huge for me. And when NDSU was like frequently talking to me, it wasn't really like junk, like spam stuff in our DMs. Like it was like genuine conversations.
Yeah,
Because I've had a lot of coaches send me like kind of just
I
like
bet.
keep
Yeah.
keep you busy just in your DMs and stuff. But NDSU talked to me a lot, and that it was crazy to me because NDSU is one of the best programs in the world, not just in not this side of the United States. Like they're one of the best programs. So that meant a lot to me, just having them show actual interest.
When Coach Hedberg then called and said, "Hey, we got a spot," what went through your mind?
So actually, I woke up to that phone call actually because he
Wow.
didn't send me a text message or anything. So I was just sleeping, stayed up pretty late. My phone was buzzing at 11 a.m. and I was like, I just woke up and Coach Hedberg says Coach Hedberg with the Bison thing next to his name. I'm like, oh shoot. So I get on the phone. He's like, hey Drake. He asked me how basketball was going, asked me how I was going, if I had any plans, and it was always in the conversation that the opportunity might open for me for a spot. Like I always kind of knew that. And he told me, he's like, we were talking to a few other guys, but and Coach Crutchley were impressed with you at our camp. And he said they have a spot for me to be a walk-on their team, a preferred walk-on. So I talked it over with my family. I talked it over for about 2 days. I talked with Coach Crutchley, the receivers coach, talked to Hedberg and Crutchley, said I was ready, called Coach Polasek, and I committed.
Oh, that's a heck of a Christmas gift, man. How did you celebrate?
Really, like, because I thought it was all over. Like I knew NDSU might come, but the recruiting process is super stressful.
Mm.
Anyone that's been in it knows. And it was kind of like like when I got the NDSU thing, it felt like it all restarted. As happy as I was, it was so stressful to think about this I was thinking about it every second of the day, the 3 days in between I got it and committed. Like but I'm blessed for it. And it's all glory to God for giving me to play at NDSU. None of it's possible without him.
You know the backstory certainly of North Dakota guys, small town North Dakota guys who have worked out. How much has that played into this and knowing, okay, I've seen it. I've seen other guys do it. I can do this as well.
And that's kind of like that's also another reason that I love NDSU is because I love the aspect of being like the underdog, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like it's gonna make me go harder. Like if I go somewhere else, I'm always gonna work my hardest, but it's like almost extra, if that makes sense. Like it feels like I do have something to prove because I wanna show people that I can play at that level because I think I can.
Where they talked to you about wide receiver. Tell us about your talents at that spot and now just focusing on one spot. How much different is that going to be?
Yeah, so funny story. My junior year, when I came back to play football, the only condition I was going to play football is if I didn't have to play quarterback because I didn't find it very fun
Yeah.
my junior year, and we had a guy who could play quarterback. So I told him that, and they said that's fine. I went to a prep red zone camp in Jamestown, and I went to that camp. Never played a football camp in my life. I knew the routes on the route tree. I didn't know releases off the whole way to Jamestown, I was watching YouTube videos on how to prepare myself for this camp. It was like a combine 40-yard dash. Because really, I was never even going to play football again, let alone did I ever think I was going to go to a camp. So I went to that camp. I played super good. I got on a few coaches' radars, and really like, wait, can you repeat the question one more time? I forgot
No,
where I was
just
going.
about like when just now focusing, just doing
Oh,
wide receiver. Like, how
yeah.
different is that going to be?
Yeah, so as soon as I knew I could get recruited to play wide
Yeah.
receiver, I did everything I could. A person who helped me a lot is my assistant football coach, Jackson Lorenz. He played college football at
Yeah.
Minot State. He's been like my probably one of my biggest supporters throughout this, other than family. He is my biggest supporter. He helped me get through like all of this, and I owe a lot of credit to him for a lot of the stuff that I've received in this process.
You also place in track as well. You're a three-sport guy. How much has track helped you for football?
Yeah, so track, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it that much, but I did it as an eighth grader. Never wanted to do it ever again. And then I decided to do it again my junior year because of football,
Yeah.
like get some extra sprinting speed, stay in shape. And I was just trying some things. I ran the 100, I ran hurdles. I did sprinting and hurdles and ran the relays. And track was fun. Track meets are fun, I should say. Practice is awful. But I don't know, track has helped a lot for sure.
Uh,
It's
I got to
in shape.
ask here, though, you guys, you have yourself, you got another stud on your team that's also starting to get some really high Division I interest in Ben Heinik. What has that been like to have college coaches going to like major college coaches going to Stanley, North Dakota?
So yeah, so Ben, I was actually one of the first people Ben told. I'm pretty sure his first thing. Well, they obviously because they can't talk to Ben yet because he's
Right.
not old enough. So none of them have been able to come to the school. So they all go through his parents, his coaches, and like whenever I heard about that, I was like, I knew he's super talented. Like it's really rare you see a 6'7" athlete that can move like him. Like
Yeah.
he's one of one. Like you don't find a lot of people like him. He's good at basketball. He made it to state track and shot put. Like I always knew Ben would be like he would be an FBS talent, but to see it finally happen, it means a lot to me even like because he works hard. He's a really hard worker and he deserves everything that comes his way.
With this now in the rearview mirror for you, have you been able to relax now, or what's ahead? What have the Bison have told you about to get ready when you get here this summer?
So actually, like I talked to Coach P briefly on when I want to come there and stuff, but I really like it's only been probably a week.
Yeah.
And I didn't even apply to NDSU because I just did like whenever I committed, I think. So my next steps yet, because I haven't checked my email to see if I've been accepted.
Okay.
But once I get accepted, that's when I kind of get in my next steps.
The excitement now for basketball to get going. Tell us about that, because I know Stanley basketball, you know the tradition there. You guys have been to state. You were there just a couple years ago, nearly won the whole thing of the expectations for this year's team.
So we obviously lost a lot of people last year.
Yeah.
We lost 4 or 5 seniors that actually played. We started 3 seniors. Our 6th guy was a senior. We had a lot of younger kids step up, and I think we can be close to that level again. But it's gonna take some practice, and we're nowhere near where we need to be. Like we're 1-3 right now, but we haven't really we haven't let that slow us down because we know what kind of team we can be. But we got 3 sophomores, a senior, and a junior. I'm the only senior who is starting. Oh, we have one other senior. He kind of rotates in and out, but like we have 2 seniors and all underclassmen and 3 who's never played varsity. So we'll get it put together for sure. I think we'll be good.
Going through the learning curve now. I really appreciate the time, bud. I know you got to get back to class. Thanks so much for doing this. Congratulations. Look forward to seeing you this summer, okay?
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Drake Schlosser joining us from Stanley High School as the newest member of the Bison class of 2025, joining us there. And that's good stuff. And again, you know, we've talked about it plenty on past guys that have gone down that road, that have tried the walk-on route and have paid off pretty well. And mention, we're going to be visiting with Stanley again. Ben Heinik is the other guy we're talking about who just wrapped up. He played his sophomore year of football that I believe Kansas State is interested. I know the Bison are interested. There's a couple other FBS out there. So offensive linemen that we've seen it time and time again now over the last handful of years. If you have that kind of size and ability, it's going to be awfully hard for them to stay within the North Dakota borders. That's the kind of talent that is out there, and Stanley might be the next one represented on the North Dakota stage. We'll break. We come back into the portal conversations, both now with South Dakota, who lost its best defensive player, much more on the Jackrabbits as well, and your emails. Hot Mike rolls on. We're back right after this.